All right, golf fans, welcome back to another Two-Man Scramble podcast. As a part of the Fairways Dreams podcast, I'm Jeff Hartman, and today I'm joined by someone who is a content creator, and I found him on Instagram. I think we follow each other, actually. He goes by the Amateur, but his name is Graham. Graham, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Jeff. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, and so whenever I have people on the show or on the podcast, I always start with the same question because for me, golf is a very interesting game. You know, golf is not like your baseballs and your soccers and even your footballs, where it's just like a rite of passage almost that you play one of those sports. Golf is unique in the fact that when you start and how you start is very unique to the individual. So I'm going to ask you, how did you get your start in the game of golf? Because I've had people that started when they were just able to walk. I've had people start in their late 30s, which I can't imagine. What is your story with the game of golf?
Mine's a combination of both of those scenarios. My dad took me to play golf probably for the first time when I was like 13. I played a ton of other sports at the time and all the way through high school, but I got really into it in high school. Got a job at a country club so that I could play golf for free and played as often as I could all the way through college, just for fun, not competing. And then I gave it up for a solid 20, 25 years.
Really?
Yep. Picked it up again 2 years ago.
Well, what caused you to drop off for 20 to 25 years? If you don't mind me asking, if it's like a personal story, you can just say, well,
I don't mind. I think the same reason a lot of people give up golf, it takes a lot of time.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of money.
That too.
And I had neither of those for a very long time. And honestly, I was so in my mid 40s. I'm 48 now. A couple of years ago, I was kind of just looking for some other challenge. I'm a journalist as my day job. I'm a writer and I do a lot of adventure journalism. And I was looking for something else to sort of complement these other sports like skiing and mountain biking. And I got my old set of clubs out from the garage and started playing one day and absolutely fell in love with it all over again.
So when you left the game, it wasn't that you were maybe frustrated or fed up with the game of golf. It was just all those extracurricular things like the time, like the financial aspect of it. So you weren't like so pissed off at the game, maybe for whatever reason that you left it. Is that accurate?
That's true. Now, when I was a kid, I had anger management issues, no doubt, on the golf course. Like I cannot tell you how many days I would get frustrated with the sport in general. Fortunately, that is something that I have not picked up again. I think I have a better attitude now when I play golf. And so that's refreshing to come back to the game and not feel compelled to throw clubs is a great way to approach it.
So this is unique because I've had people that have started later in life, a lot of people that have golfed their whole lives, but I have not had anyone take such a hiatus like you just mentioned. So when you return to the game of golf, so you take 20 plus years off, what was that like when you got your clubs out and you actually went to, I'm assuming you didn't go straight to the course. I'm assuming you went to the driving range, right?
You know, I live in the mountains,
Okay.
North Carolina. There aren't a lot of driving ranges here.
Oh, okay.
And so I went straight to the course.
How was that? Like, what was it like going and teeing up for the first time? You haven't swung a club really in 20 plus years, and here we go again.
It was interesting. I was worried. Like, I didn't know if I could swing a club. Like, you know, I'm 48 years old. My shoulders hurt. I was worried that the actual physical act of swinging a club was not going to be possible. But it felt great. I'm actually in better shape now than when I quit when I was in my 20s. I'm more mobile now. The swing felt better than when I left off, which I was surprised to find. And the fact that, you know, I didn't bring with it a bunch of expectations like I had when I was younger. I think the mental aspect was a little bit more welcoming as well.
Yeah. My brother and I have an ongoing joke that the first round of the year is always the best. Why? Because you have no expectations. You literally just go out there and say, this is my first time golfing. If I shot an 85, I'd have that crush to say, this is my first time out. But sometimes you go out and you shoot a 79. You're like, hey, that wasn't too bad. And then it can all spiral out of control. But so how's your game now? So you took the hiatus. We just talked about that. How was your 2024 season? As like, you know, I guess this is only one of your first full seasons back. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. I would say my game is complicated and confusing and not as good as I want it to be. Honestly, I thought that I would improve a lot faster than I have improved. I played a lot of golf over the last year, and I had a ton of fun. But I find myself still making the same mistakes that I was making when I, picked it back up 2 years ago.
What is the downfall of the game? We all
What
have
is the
the one part.
downfall? Man, for me personally, if I could get away without three putting, I'd probably be a pretty good golfer.
So it's the flat blade then. That's the
It
issue.
is, man. And then also, I refuse to practice it, so that's probably the problem. It's just not that much fun to go out there and putt. So I spend all my time practicing my short game and my irons and my driver, and don't think about putting at all.
Well, I'll give you credit. You share on your Instagram feed, you share the bad as much as you share the good. And so I think the first time I really took notice of your page, and I want to talk about your content creation here in a second, you were outlining how there's this one hole on your home course, we'll call it that you always tend to go to a wayward direction. I can't remember if it was left or right. And there you go. I think you hooked it left, and you're like, and here we go again. When you started your Instagram account as a content creator, and I really hate using that term because sometimes we just do it for fun and it's just fun. It's not like it's a job.
Yeah.
What got you into starting this golf account?
A few things. I review gear for a variety of different magazines, and I actually do review golf gear. And so it gave me another outlet for that. Mostly though, I just wanted to have fun with the sport, kind of show the journey, this midlife crisis that I'm going through as I, try to capture greatness on the golf course. I wanted to share that with everybody. I love to tell stories. I love to entertain. That's what I do with my writing and my day job. And so I just see this as an extension of that, It's just a different way for me to tell stories.
What kind of gear in the game of golf do you typically review?
A little bit of everything. I got to do a great roundup of golf sets for beginners for Men's Journal. I did shoes, putters, you name it.
Awesome. So I guess the last question I have about you coming back to the game is, have those expectations creeped back in because you talked about how you had none when you came back to the game? Have those expectations decide, it can spoil it. It can spoil it for a lot of people. Have those crept in?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because I can hit a good shot, I expect to hit a good shot every time. Even though I know that's not possible, even though I watch pros blade out of the sand all the time, I get really upset when I do it, and I have no reason to get upset. Fortunately, I play a lot of golf with my son, who's 15 years old, and has some of the same anger management issues that I had as a 15-year-old golfer. So I am very conscious about modeling sort of the best practices on the course and staying calm regardless of what is happening. I try really hard. It doesn't always work, but I try really hard.
Yeah. I'm going to be 42 this month, and I'm a father of 5, and my kids all golf in some capacity. The little ones just kind of go around for fun and like to ride in the cart sometimes. Some of them are actually working on their swing. Did your son pick up the game when you came back to it as well? So he's learning at almost the same age. I guess it's pretty parallel. You said 13 is when you started, so it's probably pretty similar. How is he taking to the game?
He loves it. He's straight up addicted to the sport. Like me as a kid, he plays a lot of other sports. He does soccer and baseball and track. But he wants to play every single day, just like I want to play every single day. And so it's really fun. And I've tried not to push the sport on him. I wanted him to find it on his own. And so far it's worked out because I get to go play every Sunday because my son wants to go play every Sunday. So
that is what I tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you have 5 kids." Like, I've actually taken all 5 of my kids out for a late night 9, and we walked 9 holes, and it was a nightmare. But other than that, like, it was It's a reason to go golf. Like I've golfed
Yeah,
more since I've had kids with me because I
yeah,
can tell my wife, I'm going to go golfing and I'm going to take 2 of the kids or 3 of the kids with me. And she's like, okay, go ahead. Now she has less kids to worry about at home. So there is a caveat to anyone out there that's like, I don't know how a kid would mix with golf. Sometimes it can increase your golf game, which is actually a good thing.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's such a great, it's such a great activity. It's like a microcosm of life. You learn so much about
Yeah.
yourself, when you're playing golf. And I think it's awesome for kids to confront themselves in a game like scenario. I think it's awesome.
I think it's great for kids today. And I was a teacher for 16 years and I don't do that anymore, but still a lot of kids today, I hate when people say that kids today, like they've been saying that forever. They always want to kind of defer. They want to deflect. They want to put the blame on someone else. So in team sports, I coached at the high school level for 13 years. You always had someone wanting to blame someone else. And that would always bother me. It's like, it's okay to pat yourself on the chest and say, that's my fault. That's my bad, as I used to say it. Golf, you can't blame anyone. You can't blame. I mean, you could try and blame the clubs, but my baseball coach used to say a carpenter doesn't blame his tools for a crappy job. So you can't blame the clubs. You could blame the conditions, but those are equal conditions for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most purest forms of competition and also self-seeking to be able to say, man, I can only put that onus on myself. And I think for young people, that's tough. Like that's one of the biggest challenges in the game.
It is hard. And I agree, except for my 60-degree wedge. Like it's not my problem. It's my 60 degrees problem. So I don't even use it anymore.
I don't even have a 60 degree. I have a 56. I'll open it up if I have to try and flop one, which is rare ever because that just is a recipe for a blade across the green. And so I will play it lower than I will high any day of the week. But yeah, I don't even try a 60. So last question here before we go to rapid fire and have some fun. So 2025, I don't know the weather where you are in the mountains. I know for me here, I haven't been able to golf yet this year because it's just been cold and we just got more snow on the ground. What goals do you have for yourself, if any, in this 2025 season?
Yeah, I have a lot of goals. The basic one is I want to play 100 rounds this year.
Good God.
Yeah, it's a lot of rounds. It's a lot of rounds. The full goal is I want to ski 25 days, ride my bike 50 times.
I saw this post on your Instagram.
Yeah, that's the full goal. And it's been hard, man. Like it's cold, it's raining. We had some snow, but mostly it's just cold and raining here in the mountains. So I don't really want to go outside and play golf.
Have you had any rounds in yet in 2025?
Yeah, I think I've gotten 7 in so far.
Okay, that's better than me. I've got 0. So
yeah, they're not. They weren't good.
Well, but the rounds. I remember my father used to just try and say, and I grew up in Wheeling, West Virginia. He wanted to golf at least once every month of the year.
Yeah.
So I remember as a high school kid playing golf in January when it gets to 42 degrees. I mean, your hands hurt every time you hit the ball. And I'm like, what are we doing just to say that you did it? And so that is what it is, I guess. So any other goals, like performance-based goals in 2025?
I mean, I'm always trying to drop the handicap. I don't know, like I got to figure out a different way to go about it other than just volume,
Yeah.
Like I need to find a coach who wants to work with me long-term to try to figure out some solution to some problems.
What is your current handicap?
It's sitting around like 20.
Okay. And do you have a goal for your handicap where you'd like to be single digit 10?
Yeah, I think this year, if I attack it wisely, I can get it down to a 10.
Yeah. I mean, for hell, in 100 rounds, you definitely have the opportunity to do so.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not going to say last year. I went back and tabulated how many rounds of golf I played last year, not counting like scrambles and stuff. I think I only played like 20 rounds of golf. So
oh yeah.
You are way ahead of me in terms of that. But like you said, it takes a lot of time. Like that's the thing that gets me about golf is, for me, I work from home now. My time frame is in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And that's when it's the best for me to golf. And sometimes if you only have 3 hours, it's going to be tough to even get 9 in because I always walk, but it's interesting. So, all right, you ready to have some fun with the rapid fire segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So these are questions about your game and about the game of golf, and you can take your time on these. It doesn't have to be 1-word answers. You can expound on it if you'd like. And the first question, and I kind of just alluded to this, is always, if you had a preference to ride in a cart or walk the course in any capacity, are you riding or walking?
No, I walk every round. I walk unless I'm on a golf trip with buddies who just refuse to walk.
Yeah, I hear you. And that's what sucks is if you like to walk and everyone else is riding.
Oh my gosh,
And
this is
then
the
you're like,
worst.
I'm gonna walk, and then you're trying to play catch up, and you're running
Yeah,
basically. So
and I will blame a bad round on riding in a cart any day of the week. Like that's the reason why I shanked that shot, because I had to ride in a cart.
I've had people blame the cart for back issues and stuff like that. For me, I like how when I walk, because I'm a hoofer, I still carry my bag. I don't know if you use a push cart or whatever. I have nothing against those. It gives me a time to be able to think about what I'm about to do. So like when you're walking to your ball, you're thinking about, okay, I'm going to be in the trees, or maybe I have an overhang, or I might have to draw a ball. I love walking the golf course, and I grew up that way, and I'm teaching my kids that way because, well, if I want to take them all, I can't put them all in a cart. So
It's true. I don't know how you get into the rhythm of the game if you're in a cart. Like, I don't get it.
It just feels too hurried sometimes.
Mhm.
And that's when I say to myself, what are we doing? What are we trying to set a world record for a fastest round ever? Or are we just out here to try to enjoy the game and to take our time? And it doesn't mean you're slowing up the pace of play, but my gosh, sometimes it feels like speed golf. And hey, we have a speed golfer on our podcast network, and she's phenomenal, but I have no interest in that. So,
Right.
all right, next question. You're a walker, but it still pertains to you. What is your take on music on the golf course?
I like music on the golf course. I have no problem with it. I mean, I don't want to listen to somebody else's music on the golf course, though.
Yeah, like from an adjacent hole.
Yeah. No, I think as long as you keep that in mind, there should be no problem.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're someone that walks, there's little things that drive me nuts. So if I'm with my family, my father or my brother, and we're listening to music, when you get to a green, if there's an adjacent tee box or someone right there, just pause your music because you're going into the green anyways. Like you can't hear it anyways. So I carry my phone in my bag, and sometimes I'll just play music on my phone because it's right there. It's on my back. And so I just don't understand the people that feel the need to have to blare their music to the point where, like you said, you could be on the back nine and you hear the bass bumping in a cart. Like that's just a little much. I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. What is, in your opinion, the worst rule in the game of golf?
Oh, that's a good question. The worst rule in the game of golf.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of rules in the game of golf. And I'll be honest with you, I probably don't understand 75% of the rules in the game of golf.
I don't think you're alone in that regard.
Yeah. When you have pros that have to ask officials, like, what am I really supposed to do here? And then they go back and debate for 10 minutes. That tells me that maybe there are too many rules in the game of golf.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not one that sticks out?
There's nothing where I'm like, man, that's stupid. I mean, okay, I will say the dress code issues in professional golf or even at, nice clubs. I don't think that's an official rule, but it's pretty stupid in my opinion.
Well, Jason Day is really pressing the issue this year on tour as he wore a sweatsuit in the final round of Torrey Pines, I think a couple weeks ago.
Totally, yeah.
So you're okay with that? Like you don't care what people wear on the course?
I don't really care what people wear on the course. No.
I find myself in a very difficult spot in that regard because for me, I don't care. I really don't. But at the same time, I look at Jason Day on tour and say, well, if you are going to have this type of policy, how is he couldn't get into some private clubs where I live in Maryland, let alone on a PGA Tour golf course. What are we missing here? So one, there's a right and there's a wrong. I feel like there's a middle ground, and that is be respectful to the course. Otherwise, go have fun. If you want to wear a tank top, who the hell cares as long as you're not being disrespectful to the people or the course. That's my take.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily like what Jason Day wears. Like, that's not my style. And honestly, when I play golf, even though I play some really inexpensive courses where they don't care if you show up barefoot or not, I typically wear golf appropriate attire because that's what I personally like to wear.
Yeah.
But PGA needs people to watch. They should let Jason Day do what he wants, and hopefully some other folks follow, because at least it's interesting.
It's a talking point, that's for sure. Do you think they should be able to wear shorts?
Yeah, I think most of them wouldn't choose to.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah. They should be able to wear shorts.
Especially the PGA Tour, because that's very live golf-ish. I don't think a lot of people want to be associated with that on the PGA Tour, mind you.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, next question. What is in the bag right now? So you've tried some clubs, maybe you bought some of those. What are you playing right now?
I play PXG Gen 6.
Oh, so you're part of the PXG Army. You like those?
I do. I like them a lot. I've had the chance to try out a bunch of different clubs. Those are the ones that I come back to over and over again, though. Like that's my favorite club.
So PXG, that's irons and woods, everything?
Irons and woods, although my driver is a Callaway Rogue right now because I have a hard time controlling the PXG Black Ops.
Got it. So the next question has to do with your swing itself. If you have a miss, is it a pull hook? Is it a power slice / fade? What's your miss in the game of golf?
It is without a doubt a hook. I'm missing left. If I'm missing, I am missing left 100%, to the point where I actually went to the range the other day with my son and we were working on a couple of different things. And I was so stoked because I finally got a little baby fade in with my irons. And then I took it to the course and I found it again. And I was just so happy to miss to the right. It felt so good.
It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Last week, I did a whole podcast about the golf journey. And I talked about how when I grew up, I played baseball. And so I had that power fade, that outside in swing. Yeah. And then I got that out and then it turned into a hook. And so now I'm trying to go back to a little baby fade. That's my goal for 2025. We'll see if I can do it.
It's a good goal.
What is your favorite golf ball to use?
The cheapest one I can find.
Okay, so you're not a ball snob.
I'm not a ball snob. I'm not good enough to be a ball snob. You know, I mean, yes. Have I noticed the difference when I get a chance to play a Pro V? Yeah, absolutely. Sure. But really the problem with where my ball goes isn't the ball. It's what I'm doing to it.
All right, fair. Let's go to the next question. What is your favorite major tournament on the PGA Tour?
Oh, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I love the U.S. Open because it's kind of in my backyard, or at least it was recently. But, you know, the Masters, I got to go to the Masters when I was in high school. Super cool to be there. Super cool to eat one of those sandwiches. So I got to say Masters.
I swear I'm going to get there before I die. I've never been there yet. I also don't know if the lottery is a real thing. I feel like sometimes it's just people just enter their email addresses and then they just get the blanket email. It's like, oh, sorry, you didn't get in.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone share like, I got in. Oh my God, I got tickets. So we'll see. But that's pretty cool that you got to go. Do you have a favorite PGA professional player of all time?
Of all time, I don't know of all time. Right now, I really enjoy watching Tony Finau play. Like, I think I like his game, but he also just seems like a really cool dude, you know? Like, if I could hang out with somebody, it would probably be him.
He's pretty laid back. He's one of the few people who has more kids than I do. He just had his 6.
That's right.
So
yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Do you have any superstitions on the golf course? Last time I did a two-man scramble, they were 2 guys that were former actually independent league baseball players, and they turned into they're starting an apparel company. Of course, baseball players have a ton of superstitions. Do you have any on the golf course?
Yeah, I also played baseball as a kid and had to stuff 4-leaf clovers in my socks before every game. Like, that was my big superstition. As a golfer, yes, and it changes round to round. Like, I'm one of those people who if I hit a good shot and I accidentally had my sunglasses on top of my hat, I'm going to keep them on top of my hat until I hit a bad shot.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to mix it up and put them on. And if I hit a good shot, they got to stay on until I hit a bad shot. Things like that.
So you're riding that thing until the wheels fall off. For sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you're not like I need this many tees in my left pocket, this many ball markers or anything on my right, or I have to have a quarter that is marked, like a date from whatever year. Like, I know Tiger Woods said he did that once. He always had to have a nickel that was like, I don't know, 1969 or something like that. But,
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm such a bad golfer that even my superstitions are inconsistent, you know, like maybe I should start there for 2025, get a consistent superstition and then maybe that'll lead to some consistency on the course.
Maybe. All right. What's your biggest pet peeve in the game of golf?
Biggest pet peeve in the game of golf right now is probably slow play, like at my local muni and on TV.
Yeah.
But that's probably my hang up, and I should be a little bit more relaxed about it.
Well, I agree with you that we all could be a little bit more patient, but at the same time, rounds shouldn't take over 5 hours.
No,
and
that's insane.
It is insane. It's insane on the pro level. It's insane on the amateur level or at your local municipal course. For crying out loud, get out there and tell whoever it is, either don't book as many times or whoever's slowing up the course, either pick it up or let people play through. I think that's one of the biggest issues is that too many people are scared or afraid or don't realize, just let them go. Like, let someone play through if they're right up your butt.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly, on the local course level, I think the problem is just squeezing too many tee times in.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's a business. They need to make money so they can stay open.
I get it. Last question here. It's always the last question on the rapid fire segment. And that is, you said you like music on the course. You have a background in baseball. Baseball players get to pick their walk-up song. So whatever song they would have going up to the plate, they choose it. If you got to choose a walk-up song heading to the first tee, what song would play?
Yeah. Beastie Boys, Sabotage.
That is a really, really good one.
Yeah.
That's a really, really good one. So, all right. That's fantastic. I really appreciate you taking the time and being on the podcast. I'm going to give you an opportunity to plug not just your Instagram feed, but anything else that you would want to promote. I'll let you do that now.
Yeah. If people check out the amateur golf, I'd appreciate it. On Instagram and YouTube. Other than that, that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, check it out. It's really unique, and there's a reason why I had him on. Is the amateur golf is his Instagram handle. Really unique content creation. That's what I love about some of these people. He's not out there just trying to show, look at me playing, this course and look how good I am and all that stuff. He's keeping it real, and that's what I love about it. So,
it's real.
And it, just like all the golfers out there to listen, it can be really bad at times. And he illustrates that. And that's what I like about it. It's honesty. Absolute honesty. All right, Graham, thank you very much. Take it easy. Enjoy this season. And I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you having me.
No problem.